What is up, everybody? Circle Gang is in the house. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Filling in the Gaps. I am Flo Joe. How is it going? Let's give it a few minutes for people to get inside the chat. I know we gave you guys a little bit of an intro and some wait time. We got a few people that are here. So we are officially live. We're just going to hang out for just a few minutes so that those notifications can go out and everybody can find their way in the chats. Let me start off by saying what's up to everybody that's here. We got Mac Dizzle's in the house. Dubs. Justine is here. Cindy from sunny South Florida. Jad's here. Eileen. Dubs. Miss Dizzle. 5 Divine. How is it going? Viking Woman. Storm. Who else do we have? Barbara Bish is in the house. I see Storm. Mark the Shark. What's up, Mark? Cat's here is in the house. And Bailey Bombshell. How is it going, you guys? All right, so what are we going to talk about today, you guys? I see that Law and Crime just came out with a new video, They did, they actually had 2 videos today. They had 10, what is it, 10 clues regarding the case, and then they just came out with this one a couple minutes ago regarding 9 key questions about our guy, Neo. So we're gonna get into that, but first, I do wanna just bring something up really quick because last night's turnout and the events surrounding last night's video or our live went crazy, you guys. For a small channel like mine, we gained over 120 subs overnight, and it was just crazy. So I just want to say thank you, you guys, because there's really only a few milestones that you really celebrate when you come onto YouTube and you live stream, you create content, and one of those is reaching 1,000 subscribers, you guys. You guys know that 90% of all YouTube channels never reach 1,000 subs. Now it's crazy, right? Because all of you guys watch your favorite content creators and they have thousands and millions of subscribers. But it's really difficult to continue to create content and just kind of gather up all the energy to do this. But I just want to say that we are here. We're going to continue to keep streaming, and we are literally on our road, on our journey to 1,000 subs. So I do want to say thank you guys to all of you guys that are tuning in, and to everybody that's new here, welcome, because we gained a ton of subscribers overnight, and then the turnout for the views on the last video for a small channel like mine is ridiculous, right? So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I do want to say thank you to everybody who's new here, and to all of the people who have been here since day one. It's because of you guys that we are continuing to do this. So I do want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to give you guys all a round of applause. There you go. Okay, keep going, you guys. Okay, there you go. Anyways, so this is our boy Neo Langston. For all of you guys that have been living under a rock, this guy was arrested on Thursday night, right? News came out on Friday, and then on Saturday morning, he mysteriously made bail, or he bonded out. So, Law and Crime Jesse Weber did a video on 9 key questions that we need to reconsider when we talk about Neo Langston. So, let's go ahead and get right into it.
And what his potential role could be in this case.
Hold on, let me make sure that we watch this at a normal speed so I can comprehend everything, you guys. Ms. Dizzle, the weed whacker.
The case of the death of a teenage girl found in the trunk of a car reportedly registered to the romantic homicide singer. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Now, I got to say this real quick. If you're putting things out, don't maybe roll. Talkers can get an edit like a pro.
No.
Okay, so look, we were
promos here. No promos here. We're not at 1,000 subs yet, y'all.
Such a rush on Friday with the breaking news of the arrest of David's friend or parent friend, Neo Langston, that we didn't really get a chance to really discuss everything we know about this guy. And, by the way, his alleged connection to this case, because there was more that came out afterwards. There was more that came out over the weekend. So that's what we want to do right now. All
right, so apparently there was more information that came out over the weekend. So we're going to see what exactly was new and what we already knew, you guys.
A little bit more time to Neo Langston, because this is a big deal. This is a big deal. In an investigation that was launched after the decomposed body of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found in a Tesla out in Los Angeles, reportedly registered to singer David, there hasn't really been a lot that we know, a lot that we can even confirm. There have been no arrests. There have been no charges. And let's be clear about what Langston was arrested for and what he wasn't currently. But this comes, as it was reported, a grand jury may be hearing evidence out in Los Angeles in connection with Celeste's death. And that's interesting because at first we thought that this was an investigative grand jury that would help with getting witness testimony, maybe getting the production of evidence, but they couldn't return an indictment. Then the reporting seemed to suggest, no, this is a grand jury that can return an indictment.
I'm still confused why they are using this photo. It really makes me wonder if this is an actual real photo, because from what I've come up with and what a lot of people have told me, this photo is AI. This photo is AI generated. So I'm curious.
indictment. So just presuming that for a moment, we got to talk about it. Okay, to be clear, while there have been reports about David's alleged involvement and that he's considered a suspect and that he may be facing homicide
you,
charges,
DJ See No
authorities
Evil.
haven't confirmed that. That's not surprising in a case like this, but just want to make that clear too. But Neo Langston, okay, 23 years old, reported online streamer who apparently has been featured in photos and videos with the romantic homicide singer in the past. He was arrested last week, reportedly on a felony charge of failing to appear as a witness.
Okay, so it's a felony charge, you guys, not a misdemeanor charge like it may have been discussed very, very, very early on. I think it was determined that it was upgraded to a felony.
Out of a case in Los Angeles, that this was a warrant from the LAPD, more specifically the Robbery Homicide Division that is in fact investigating Celeste's death. And we reported that he was arrested out in Montana, more specifically Helena, Montana. This is according to TMZ, that he was booked into the Lewis and Clark County Detention Center at 5:56 p.m. on January 22nd. This is per LA Mag. But now, this is a new piece of information. We have learned that he was apparently apprehended at his mother's house, his mother Cynthia's house, reportedly on Ninth Street, which is apparently a residential neighborhood. Now, LA Mag, Los Angeles Mag, saying that he was wearing a gray hoodie, brown beanie, and navy blue sweats when he was.
And just in case you guys don't remember what he looked like, this is our boy Neo right over here, right? He's got that gray sweater, blue sweats, and that brown beanie.
Arrested.
I'll be back really quick. I need to turn off the TV that's in the living room. I'll be right back, but I'm gonna play this.
You know what's interesting about him allegedly being picked up at his mom's place? I got to call this out. According to TMZ, they say that public records indicate that his mom bought that house in March of 2025. Why is that significant? So while we don't know for sure whether Langston is connected to Celeste's case or not, if he is allegedly involved, and we don't know in what capacity, that timing is important because if it's true, Celeste apparently disappeared in 2024 from Lake Elsinore, California. And investigators believe that she had been dead for quite some time when she was found in that car on September.
So let's go back.
Saying that he was wearing a gray hoodie, brown beanie, and navy blue sweats when he was arrested. And you know what's interesting about him allegedly being picked up at his mom's place? I got to call this out. According to TMZ, they say that public records indicate that his mom bought that house in March of 2025.
Wow, March of 2025. That is mysterious timing, you guys. Buying a new house in March 2025. Could that be huge? I don't know. Maybe it isn't, right? But we do know that there are theories, allegations, speculation that maybe Celeste may have died in January, maybe February, right? There's speculation that she may have died in the springtime, a little bit closer to the summertime, right? Or maybe around like the Coachella time. Nothing's been confirmed because obviously law enforcement has not given us anything. So buying a house in Montana in March 2025, that's very, very recent.
Why is that significant? So while we don't know for sure whether Langston is connected to Celeste's case or not, if he is,
super sus, right?
If he's allegedly involved, and we don't know in what capacity, that timing is important because if it's true, Celeste apparently disappeared in 2024 from Lake Elsinore, California. And investigators believe that she had been dead for quite.
Peekaboo, that's a good question. How many homes does she own? So previously, before Neo was arrested, there were discussions when the identity of Neo was released, which was about a month ago. It was believed that maybe his mother lived in Van Nuys. Obviously it's personal information regarding the mother that we don't really need to discuss here. But the other residence that we are familiar with is Van Nuys.
Some time when she was found in that car on September 8th, 2025. Now, we don't know the exact cause of death, the manner of death, the time of death. Remember, the ME, the medical examiner's records, the office records are sealed. This is due to a court order that was sought by the LAPD. But remember when the LAPD recently released a statement that said, quote, We have evidence that David traveled to the Santa Barbara area sometime during the spring of 2025. The reason for that trip is still under investigation, and we've drawn no conclusions at this point about the relevance of the trip to this case. So that house was apparently bought in March of 2025. Now thinking what else may have happened in spring of 2025. As I mentioned in a previous episode of Sidebar, Steve Fisher, the private investigator who's connected to this case, he says the last proof of life photo they have of Celeste is from January of 2025. So again, timing there is interesting. But I want to go back to
And we'll probably rewatch that video that I did. I actually went out to that location to just kind of take a look at this area, kind of put things into perspective for myself. So if anything, we'll probably get a chance to watch that a little later. Rufio Banny said, it seems like Steve Fisher is worried that nobody is going to get charged or that charges are going to be minimal, which is worrisome. Agree, right? I think because, the fact that they actually brought Neo Langston in and they arrested him, there's a potential that maybe he is only a witness and not considered a suspect. And could that be worrying? Yeah, absolutely, right? Could this entire investigation is basically based on circumstantial evidence? I think, there's a high possibility that that is. But I also do think that Neo Langston is going to be a key eyewitness in this investigation, which can help, kind of put more of a story together.
To what has come out since our last report of Neo Langston. So according to LA Mag, his case was handled by the district court, which indicates a felony was at issue here. And according to a service report, a total of 7 police officers were called to his mom's house to arrest him. And also TMZ reported.
And we do have that right over here. Right here in the Helena Police Department. So this is the command log, and it basically shows you the amount or the number of officers that responded to this case. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 officers that responded to this. And I think we have a little bit of the records later, which we'll take a look at.
Reporting that while it seems David and Langston appeared together on social media, in the time leading up to when Celeste's body was found, Langston allegedly deleted or archived photos of him with David. Again,
Wait, hold on. What?
Yeah. In the time leading up to when Celeste's body was found, Langston allegedly deleted or archived photos of him with David. Again.
Oh, wow. Okay, so before the body was discovered, they're saying that Neo was removing or archiving photos of him and David. Wow. Makes me wonder if Neo had something planned this whole time too.
Allegation, something to be thinking about. So based on the reporting, it was speculated, okay, could he have failed to appear as a witness in this apparent ongoing grand...
That's a good question, Storm. Is there 7 and the marshals? I mean, here in this screenshot, it does only show, let me see. Let me find this one here. Where is it? It's this one. I'm assuming these are Helena. Yeah, right here it says Helena Police Department right here. So I'm assuming seven officers from the Helena Police Department on top of however many U.S. Marshals that were there. But I'm assuming that wouldn't be here in this report.
Grand jury proceeding that's happening in LA. That's a fair conclusion. And again, potentially a grand jury hearing evidence in the David Celeste case. Now, while the LAPD hasn't come out and said that, there is potentially evidence to support it. Why? The reason we say that is because, as we previously reported per TMZ, that back in December of 2025, there may have been a conversation in the hallway of the courthouse between Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman, so this is a career homicide prosecutor,
the sniper,
who's allegedly spearheading the Celeste case, and an attorney named Evan Jennis. Now, Evan Jennis apparently represents Robert Morgenroth, heads up David's touring company, as David's manager. And the conversation, per TMZ, was about a potentially uncooperative witness. In fact, Silverman allegedly told Jennis that she was going to have the judge issue a body attachment. So this is a legal way to get a witness to appear in front of the court. Now, look, we have no idea if this conversation actually happened or if the alleged uncooperative witness is Neo Langston, but I got to call it out. I got to say this, right? So what happened? Well, Langston was transported to Los
Cindy said, I think SF had to put something out to stay relevant since Neo was arrested and someone else broke the news. SF knows something and he's been playing cat and mouse since the beginning, in my opinion. Ooh.
Angeles. He was booked into the Metropolitan Detention Center. This is per TMZ. And he was released after posting $60,000 bail on Saturday. Now, I will say Steve Fisher, again, he is the private investigator who was hired by the property owner where David was apparently staying at, which was near where that Tesla was found. He posted on X, as a point of clarification, Neil Langston was not booked or housed at the LA Sheriff's Department Twin Towers Jail in Los Angeles. He was extradited and taken to LAPD's Metropolitan Detention Center, different than the federal MDC, and he bonded out from there. The Sheriff's Department is responsible for reporting all prisoners being held in Los Angeles County, which is why he appears on their website. And he also says that he bonded out at 9:41 a.m. this morning. He's no longer in custody. Now, putting that to the side, if he bonded out $60,000 bail on Saturday,
Mac, I'm right there with you. You said, I wish we could just know everything that happened. Just like you, I want to know everything that happened too. I think that if we're given all the information that comes out, every question that we have, if every question that we have is answered, we may not get the justice that we actually want, right? So, just like you, I am so eager, so anxious to find out all the information that we can find out. But I think we all just have to be patient, right? I mean, you guys already know that, but there's not much we can do until David is actually arrested, right? And indicted on charges.
Does become a question of if he will testify and how he will testify, what he would say, what value his potential testimony would be. Because again, assuming he sought to testify in that grand jury, there is something there. Now, I do have to call this out too. When it was being reported that David was being considered a suspect in Celeste's death, there was chatter out there about whether a second suspect was being considered too by authorities. And if that is true, now we got to wonder, is this Langston? Which is interesting because he's being called as a witness.
Type of 1 in the chat if you guys think that second potential suspect is Neo. Type of 2 in the chat if you guys think that it might be somebody else, because there's a big possibility that it may be someone else.
Yes, right? He's not a potential person being charged, which, by the way, Steve Fisher, which I'm going to show in a minute, has some thoughts about. But there's always been speculation that maybe multiple people, multiple actors have been responsible in some way with what happened to Celeste, even just the placement of her body. Now, acclaimed criminal defense attorney Mark Garagos spoke on the Two Angry Men podcast back in November that according to people he apparently spoke to who are connected to the case, investigators may be looking at a newly unidentified second person that was involved, quote, before, during, and after Celeste's death. That they may have digital evidence to support this, cell phone data, social media activity, digital data from the Tesla, and that this evidence places this person in the same Hollywood Hills neighborhood during the time when either Celeste died or her body was found. So again, we don't know for sure what Langston's alleged role is or could be, but got to call that out too if they're talking about maybe a second suspect. Now, let me mention here Steve Fisher, okay? Because Steve Fisher went on X and was quite vocal about this. Okay,
yeah, he very much was vocal, right? He definitely had a lot to say, and he was not happy.
He's been very outspoken before, but when it came to Neil Langston's arrest, he didn't hold anything back. And by the way, there is evidence that he too may have testified before the grand jury. Anyway,
evidence.
This is what he posted on X.
What evidence? Steve Fisher. I want to see the evidence. And if you're talking about the toilet paper that he took a photo of, I don't know if I would call that evidence. Hey, shout out to Mama Flo out there gifted memberships. Okay, so if you received a gifted membership from Mama Flo, please make sure you thank her in the chat. All of you guys that just received a gifted membership, welcome to the inner circle, y'all. Drop some circles in the chat for all our new members.
Quote, the arrest of Neil Langston for failure to appear to give testimony, which are the exact words used by the Sheriff's Department when speaking with me, concerns me to a certain extent, assuming this arrest is related to the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case. Targets are not typically called to testify in a case. So basically, this is somebody who may be criminally charged, right? Quote, at the state level, target letters are not always required, but subpoenaing a target without providing notice is extremely risky. A defense attorney would likely argue that any testimony was coerced. Had Neo received a target letter, he almost certainly would have retained.
Wow. That's a very great point, Tammy. And now I'm wondering, since David canceled the lease in March, right? Because I think that's when he may have canceled the lease to the house on 804. And his mom, Neo's mom, also got the house in Montana in March. The timing for that is very, very peculiar, yo.
Counsel and invoked his Fifth Amendment rights. You know, right against self-incrimination, which, by the way, he may do if he ends up testifying. Quote, that makes me think that he's viewed as a witness rather than someone currently at risk of being charged.
I wonder if David misled some to think Celeste Herrera was Rivas. I mean, I don't know, you know, but what we do know is that Celeste Herrera has been awfully quiet in this entire situation, right? If you guys have seen her Instagram, let me see if I can pull that up too. She has a very particular notice on her page. Let me see. Herrera. So this is her Instagram page right over here, right? And if you guys see, it says Celeste Herrera, and in her bio it says 23 and different Celeste, right? So she's very aware of who Celeste Rivas Hernandez is. It's crazy that she has to just put different Celeste, though.
Did one person act alone in concealing Celeste's body? If this was a homicide, did a single individual act alone without a conspirator? I find that unlikely. This leads me to believe that Neo may represent a last-ditch effort by prosecutors, a Hail Mary of sorts, because they do not yet have what they need.
Yeah, right? She had to put her age on there so you wouldn't confuse her with the 14-year-old.
Fully make the case. They
West
may be
Side Piff,
attempting
what's
to
going
pressure
on?
him into
Welcome.
cooperating, potentially by offering immunity. Is Neo the last hope? If that is the situation, it suggests the case is largely circumstantial, which could help explain the prolonged delay. I may be misreading the situation, but when I learned of Neo's arrest, my stomach dropped. I am deeply concerned about both the strength of the case and the pursuit of justice for Celeste. While charging one person is better than charging no one, everyone who bore any culpability in this minor's death or in the concealment of her body should face the most severe punishment available under the law. However, it doesn't feel like that will be the case. Not to me, anyway. Hashtag David.
Unity Eagle AI? Unity Eagle AI, welcome to the inner circle. Thank you for joining and becoming a member. We welcome everybody. Thank you so much for becoming a member.
Hashtag Celeste Rivas Hernandez. But then Steve follows it up with another X post. Quote, what I'm most curious about in the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case is what David's reaction or explanation was when it was disclosed on September 8th that a body had been found in a car registered to him. The only people who would know that are those who were on tour with him at the time. I know Neo started the tour with him, but I do not believe he was there for the entire duration. Rob, possibly meaning Robert Morgenroth, the manager, Rob likely was involved, but he may...
Oh, Mark said, when David is washing the shoes, I do believe that one of the pairs are Celeste Herrera's, in my opinion. And so, Mark, are you saying that one of the pairs don't belong to Celeste Rivas, like those Jordans that he was cleaning? Very interesting. Interesting.
Not have been on the road continuously or present at every show. Isia, however, I believe, was with David the entire time on the road and at each show and was with him the day the news broke. I believe that because Isia left her car at the rental house on the day they boarded the tour bus for the first show in San Francisco in July. Her car was not picked up until September 19th when her father retrieved it late that evening as seen on surveillance. It would be extremely telling to know how those conversations unfolded after it became public that Celeste's body had been found. I am sure there was shock, not about the body itself, because they already knew about that, in my opinion, but about the fact the world was now or knows of what kind of people they are. Who can do this to a 14-year-old or even have knowledge of it and still live with themselves? Months later, and not even a single offer of condolences to Celeste's family and friends from any of them. Nobody has ever been convicted of a crime by offering a condolence.
Nobody has been convicted of a crime by offering a single condolence. It's so true, right? Um, I, I don't know anybody that's ever got convicted for offering condolences. I mean, that offering condolences does not make you guilty or associated with the victim, right? So, I mean, why not just come out and offer your condolences? It was the least that anybody could have done, right? It was the least that the attorneys on David's end could have done. David could have said that as well.
And if people are offered immunity, it doesn't mean they're not guilty. It
They
means they got
got
lucky.
lucky.
But karma does not care about luck. To be clear, I am sick and bleeping tired of each day that goes by that those responsible.
No, we're not going to censor it here. It says, to be clear, I am sick and fucking tired of each day that goes by that those responsible are not behind bars. It's time to fucking pay for what you or each of you did. Sorry, you guys, we're not at 1,000 subs yet, so we're gonna keep it uncensored here. But if you guys do like the channel, we are on our road to 1,000 subs, and we are only, what is it, 18 subs away, right? If all of you guys are subs in the chat, I appreciate you. But if you're not a sub, please consider becoming a sub.
Responsible are not behind bars. It's time to bleeping pay for what you or each of you did. Now, it is a very interesting take from Steve regarding Langston and others, and if he was allegedly involved or not, and whether or not a deal needs to be worked out, and the strength of the case, and the target of the investigation is obviously very different than a witness. We don't really know what authorities are looking at, even if there is fully a grand jury that's been impaneled, what they're looking at. But you do wonder if this case does need to be built up on witness testimony, and whether or not there's somebody else that hasn't been identified that potentially
Those
Neo could
bleeping
provide
bleepers.
testimony to. So perhaps it is David, perhaps it's David and someone else. Is it just Neo?
Hey, y'all, look, Mark told you guys in the chat, sub up so FloJo can get monetized. Only 18 more. Come on, let's go.
And David, this
17
is what we
more.
don't know, and obviously you can.
I'm not going to chase it down, but we're 17 subs away from 1,000. That's pretty crazy. Wild, wild, wild.
And Steve's frustrations if Neo was, in his view, or maybe in his view, is a central role in this and is not going to be charged, but we just don't know for sure. Because if he was to be indicted too, Steve does make a point. They wouldn't really be bringing him back to testify as a witness. And it does raise interesting questions. But once more, we don't even know the exact circumstances or Langston's connection to David or Celeste.
Welcome, Synth Serber. I appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by the channel. Thank you for hanging out.
For sure. And you know what else? Authorities never even confirmed what the relationship was between Celeste and David. There's always been speculation that the two were romantically involved, despite her being a minor. And we always talked about before charges related to a potential homicide or disposal of a body. But if there was an inappropriate relationship going on and she's a minor, those are potential charges too. By the way, we made a contact with a Montana police officer.
Look at Mama Flo in the chat. She got the countdown going on. She said 17, 15. All right, Mama Flo getting excited over here.
Who indicated, quote, for further information regarding the investigation, please contact the Los Angeles Police Department Robbery Homicide Division. So there you go. Again, another confirmation that that specific division of LAPD is involved in the arrest of Neo.
Hey, Basin Jordan, you don't like that? You don't like that mugshot? You don't like that smile? Look at that. He's got that Colgate smile, right?
Langston. But with all that,
probably need some chapstick too, but
in mind, now I want to go to something else. I want to go to my interview with retired Detective Commander Will Svilar. So this is from Friday. This is when the news broke of Neil Langston's arrest. It provides a little bit more context to think about in terms of his potential role, his arrest, what we can expect. Here you go.
Sounds to me like, 2 and 2, like you said, the grand jury's been convened since November. What happens then is the prosecution is presenting witness after witness, putting evidence in against a specific target or targets for a specific charge. So bringing this guy in, this guy they probably believe has pertinent information to support this charge. And it sounds to me like the noose is starting to tighten around the offender.
If we assume that he was supposed to be testifying in front of the grand jury, and obviously we know grand juries are kind of one-sided, it's the prosecution presenting enough evidence to suggest, hey, can you return an indictment? First, we had thought that it was just an investigative grand.
Hey, shout out to is that Tara Jackson for becoming a member of the Inner Circle, y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to the Inner Circle, Tara Jackson. We appreciate your support.
Jury that couldn't return an indictment. Then there was reporting, no, this is a grand jury that can return an indictment. The standard to get back an indictment is relatively low, but it's the prosecution's case. They're presenting evidence to support whatever charges they're.
It's crazy. I feel like this is like a New Year's countdown. This is crazy. We might hit 1,000 subs during the live. We may not, you know, and if we don't, that's okay. We'll continue to keep pushing, but we might. I don't know. I'm just saying we might.
They're looking for here. If we assume he's been an uncooperative witness, and we assume he's all the way in Montana, so 1,200 miles away.
Just became a member of the Inner Circle. Welcome. Thank you for your support for the channel. Thank you.
Timeline's interesting, right? So the reporting in December of an uncooperative witness, and now in January, I wonder if they might have had trouble finding him. I don't know the circumstances of his arrest. I don't know the I mean, talk to me about the cooperation if you have LAPD now working with Montana to maybe find him. I do wonder.
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just a little excited. You guys, you know, this is one of those hurdles that many creators have to struggle through. So forgive me for being just a little excited for a very serious topic. But reaching 1,000 subs is a big deal for me, you know. So I do appreciate it. They do say that a lot of YouTubers really drop out before your first 500 subscribers. So it's a big you know, for me at least, it's a big accomplishment. So I do appreciate all of you guys that are here.
Or was there an issue to figure out where he was?
Sure, it could have taken a while to find him, but once you swear out a warrant and you put a warrant across the database across the country, anywhere this guy gets stopped, it's serviceable. As long as it's a good warrant, it's serviceable, and there's extradition involved. It gets served wherever he is, and you get it out there.
All right, Mama Flo is just feeling some type of way tonight. She just gifted 5 more memberships. Wow. Thank you. If you guys received a gifted membership from Mama Flo, please make sure you thank her.
Across law enforcement channels, you put it into leads. Once it's in leads, every law enforcement agency has it. So regardless of where he went, he was eventually going to get caught. Now, they may have had some information from whatever sources that he was up in Montana, but this could be as simple as a routine traffic stop where he gets picked up on a name check.
What do you think his connection is to this case?
Well, he's a friend. He's an influencer. I think the purpose of the grand jury is to try to find out what that connection is. And again, there's so many different things out there with these influencers and the YouTube. I don't know what his connection would be, but.
And do we happen to have any legals in the chat? Because I do have questions. Somebody posed a question earlier. Let me see where that question is. It was Westside Piff that said, I still don't get how Neo got expedited and bonded out the next day when he was on the run from testifying. He could run again. I'm not gonna lie. I had to run a ChatGPT search to kind of answer that question. And I mean, it gave me a very interesting reason. But again, because it's AI, I can't confirm its legitimacy, right? It's a lot smarter than I am. But I can't confirm 100% that this is the reason why.
The grand jury wants to find out, then prosecution wants to find out. And again, now you can bring him back.
And Miss Jans, we've actually speculated that for a while. Is Neo a dealer? You know, here in our chat, we do call Neo the plug, right? So there's potential that he may be the plug for a lot of these people.
Extradite him, make him go to the grand jury, but he could still take the fifth, doesn't have to testify. If it comes back, the medical examiner comes back that this is a homicide, changes everything. If it's a homicide, now you're looking at a murder.
Who said that? Who said that? Mama Mia said, sub number 1,000 wins the car. Courtesy of Mama Mia, you guys. So whoever sub number 1,000 is, make sure you hit a Mama Mia for that car.
Charge. This grand jury is being presented information and evidence to support a specific charge against a specific person or persons. Could this guy be part of it? He could be, or he could just be a witness. Now, the benefit of bringing him in, if he decides he doesn't want to testify, he wants to take the fifth, well, then the judge can make him sit.
Oh, sin. Yeah, I mean, please, by any means, if you'd love to answer, share your knowledge in the chat, that would be appreciated, because I know a lot of people have that same question, right?
The judge who issues a warrant can make him sit in jail. And, up to 30 days, you might change your mind.
There's the possibility, when you think about what happened to Celeste, whether or not multiple people can be involved. Do you think that this is a grand jury that is hearing evidence against
Barbara
multiple
Bish,
people?
thank you
and there would
for
be multiple
hanging out.
indictments or indictment containing.
Barbara Bish, have a good night. Get some rest. I hope we hit 1,000 tonight too. We're only 4 away, so I don't know. We might.
multiple defendants at the same time?
Absolutely could well be. And I can tell you, like you mentioned earlier, the threshold to get an indictment, to get probable cause to indict it, to move it on to trial to the next phase isn't that high. Okay. It's like probable cause. But if you're bringing all these witnesses, you're laying out a pretty
Right.
complex complaint or a complex argument that possibly there could be more than one person. Matter of fact, I'd be surprised if there was only one person.
By the way,
Oh, that's a good point. You'd be surprised if there was really only one person.
You're laying out a pretty complex complaint or a complex argument that possibly there could be more than one person. Matter of fact, I'd be surprised if there was only one person.
by the way,
that
just
right?
to go back to Neil Langston,
Okay.
if someone is allegedly uncooperative, does that mean they have something to hide? Or have you seen in your experience, maybe they don't want to testify for a variety of reasons?
Both ways. Either someone's got something to
One of our supporters in the chat, Basin Joint, really doesn't like SF. That is crazy. You know what, though? But I will give it to SF Investigates, because if it really wasn't for him, this case would absolutely be nowhere, right?
hide, or and more often than not, when we get reluctant witnesses, and I 32 years on a job, I worked murders and violent crimes for 25 of them. Most of the time in those instances where we can't get someone to cooperate, it's because out of fear. Their fear of retribution, and they don't want to get themselves involved or their families involved.
By the way, did you see this mugshot of him? We have it. Did you see it? Where
He
he's
looks pretty
smiling. That was weird.
Yeah, he looks like he's in a good mood.
Yeah, that was
We're gonna watch a car chase when we hit 1,000 subs. Heel.
interesting, just to say the least. I mean,
Yeah, I did
We're only 2 subs away, so
see that.
but you also think about how young they are. I mean, you're talking about 23-year-old. What's David? 20 years old. These are young.
And Chloe, very great point, right? Because today is Monday. I wonder if Neo testified at the grand jury this week. I'm guessing he did, but just a guess. And I'm very curious. There had to have been TMZ and their people at the courthouse today. So I'm very, very curious what they know, right?
Young people that investigators might be looking at. I think and that's, by the way, something else that everybody talks about. They say if they're looking at David, it's not just in connection with the death of Celeste, but any alleged relationship he had with her. Do you think that's being explored?
Sure, absolutely. There's ages of consent. She's below the age of consent. He's over the age of consent. Now
I want to ask you guys, if they've exhausted all resources and law enforcement cannot gather up enough evidence to charge David or indict him on murder charges, would you guys be okay? Would you guys be satisfied if they did charge him with any of the sex crimes?
inappropriate relationship, and it not only inappropriate but illegal. So when we talk about the indictments and the charges, that could very well be part of it.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank
All right,
you
that's
so much for
all.
joining us. And as always, please
Shout out to Jesse Weber Law and Crime. They do some really great work, so make sure that you guys are following Law and Crime. Actually, let me drop their link in the chat, because we always want to make sure that we shout out any of the people whose work that we view. So go ahead and follow Law and Crime. They 7 million subscribers, so they're definitely key people in this true crime community. I have another video that I want to show you guys, because our girl Lauren Conlon just came out with another video. It's happened about 12 minutes ago. So let's see. There's an ironic 2024 TikTok warning that Lauren has come across. I'm curious what she's got. Oops. Hold on, let me check okay, there you go.
Interesting video from one of the singer
Oops.
David's TikToks that he made in 2024.
All right, you guys, I have to ask. Who was number 1000? Who was our 1,000 sub? I'm very curious. Who was it?
I found it really, really interesting, a little bit ironic, the juxtaposition of this particular video amid the investigation into the death of
Cindy, let's go. She said, I was here when you hit 50 again, 100 and 500, now 1,000. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's crazy.
Celeste Rivas
Mark the
Hernandez.
Shark with a 149 super sticker with a hot dog. Thank you for the hot dog super sticker, Mark. Hey.
Who is the 14-year-old
Let's
girl
go.
found in the frunk. I hate that word, the frunk of his car.
Foxy.
And look,
Foxy on your alt account. That was you. All right. Shout out to Foxy. There you go for becoming sub number 1,000. Make sure you hit up Mama Mia for your sub car.
maybe you guys knew that this account existed. It's called David's Prayers.
We hit 1,000.
I did
y'all.
not. So the
Really quick, let me just stop really quick and just kind of address that. Thank you guys for coming to my channel over and over again and supporting me and just believing in the stuff that we do here on Filling in the Gaps with Flojo myself. I do appreciate it. This isn't as easy as people think it is, right? The whole thumbnails that you have to generate, the content that you have to gather, the endless amount of research, right? For any of you guys that are content creators like Mark the Shark, we go back and forth on how much research we put into just this case alone, right? And some of the bigger content creators that cover like all the stories, I can only imagine like how much it takes, right? But thank you guys. I do want to thank all 1,000 of you guys and however many of you guys that are here in this chat. It means the world to me. I appreciate that you guys are here supporting my channel. I know Mama Flo is in the chat, one of our mods, right? She thanks you. But let's get back into it. 5Divine, thank you for your $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
The reason that I found this video so
Foxy, Mama Mia said, what is your car of choice? We'll go on Amazon and look for those Hot Wheels.
ironic, I guess, is because he is heeding this warning about the company you keep. And, I want to start off by saying, again, I know I've said it in the past, it's in the episode notes, but David has not been charged with anything. The LAPD has not even named him as a person of interest in the death of Celeste. They actually came out in, I believe it was the end of September of 2025 and said, there might not be any criminal culpability beyond concealment of a body. And, we haven't really heard since about David when it comes to the LAPD speaking out. However, we do know.
Ronan, thank you for your $2 super sticker. Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Factual that there is a grand jury that has been convened in Los Angeles. And this grand jury is for investigating the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez and which charges, if any, can be.
Oh, David. Yeah. So for those of you guys who are new to my channel, Mama Flo, aka Jadabod. Yeah, that's my mama. She's like my #1 fan. And she's been one of the forces behind pushing me to continue to do this, right? For a very long time. She's always seen how much I was into like the entertainment industry. And, she's been telling me that, because I didn't make it into the big leagues, that this was just a good way to just kind of get back into it. So shout out to Mama Flo for being that driving force behind me to just, keep reminding me to just keep streaming. You got to go on tonight. You got to go live. So shout out to Mama Flo.
Brought. And this, I believe, is 100% being investigated as a homicide because it's being led, the grand jury, by homicide prosecutor Beth Silverman in the Los Angeles County Courts. So with all that being said, back to David's TikTok.
Shout out to Heal With Sounds for gifting a membership. Who got that? Miss Nancy received a gifted membership. Welcome to the inner circle. Thank you so much, Heal With Sounds.
Accounts. And look, he has quite a few of these, and these are very.
I'm not even gonna lie. I haven't really been paying attention to what Lauren's been saying, but we're gonna listen now.
Starkly contrasting accounts. I mean, I mentioned the David's Prayers account, which is David essentially reading scripture, Bible verses, talking about his
The
relationship with
irony of this guy reading Bible scriptures, right? And just knowing that he may actually be the culprit, the suspect in this entire case to do all this harm to a 14-year-old teenage girl really makes you think,
God
what kind of people do we have out in the entertainment industry? Who are these idols that your children are looking up to?
and Jesus to his followers and to his audience. And I actually find these videos to be genuine. I mean, this is my opinion. So coming across this, I was pretty shocked because I only knew the side of him that is a little bit racy. I mean, you've got his other accounts that where's the huz, or whatever. I list these in the
Where
article
are
I'll
the
bring up, but you've
huz?
got that, you've got his David account, you've got David's tours. I mean, you've got David's burners, and in those videos, it's more, I guess, just curse words, middle fingers. I know I sound like such an old lady saying curse.
You're right. You're right. Eminem does have way worse lyrics, but also Eminem came out with his music in a time where not everybody took his lyrics seriously, right?
Curse words, middle fingers, middle of the night rides. A lot of people have speculated that in one video he's driving out to Santa Barbara. This Santa Barbara trip was mentioned by TMZ, but then verified by the LAPD. And you've got, just parties and
Whoa,
his
whoa, whoa, whoa. Mark the Shark again with another $2 super sticker. Thank you. Does it say? Okay. It actually shows a super sticker. Sometimes in the chat or in the comments when you highlight them, it doesn't actually show what the actual sticker is, but I guess this one does. What is it? Like a little, is it like what is that? I can't even see it. Looks like a little fruit with a cape on. That's funny.
friends and just things that don't really seem to match the David's prayers account. That's all. So yeah,
Miss
I
Dizzle
was
with your
kind of
$3 super sticker.
shocked to see this.
Thank
But
you with the fist
the
bump.
whole framing of this video that really seemed to give me chills was that David was heeding a warning about the company.
You're right, Mac Dizzle. Never thought about it as a kid, but Bone Thugs and Harmony was like devil worshippers. They had the Ouija board sons and stuff. Yeah, right. They're East 1999, and I was a huge Bone Thugs and Harmony fan growing up. I even grew my hair out, rapped like Busy Bone. Yeah, I was definitely a big fan at the time.
That one keeps. And he actually said, I mean, the video is actually, I'm going to play part of it in a minute, but the video is called
Oh, I can barely keep up with the chat. Mac Dizzle said with a $2.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. Thank you. That little pair with pom poms. Let's go. As Mark would say, let's go.
avoiding bad influence and keeping good company. So it was posted on November 23rd, 2024. And he starts off by reading scripture from Proverbs. And he says, I'm going to start off by reading from Proverbs 13 and 20. And it says, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Second verse, Proverbs 14 and 7. Stay away from a fool, for you will not find knowledge on their lips. And then he goes on to say, basically what these verses are saying is if you're a smart individual and you're self-aware, the company around you and the friends you make and everyone you hang out with.
Thank you so much for your 99 super sticker. Thank you for your continued support.
And things like that. So if you see one of them as bad news or a bad influence, bad energy, you're supposed to be the smart person and get that person out of your life. The Bible says, don't walk with fools, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm just looking at this and I'm like, oh my gosh, the juxtaposition of this video's content amid Celeste's death. I mean, that just caught my attention. And look, I mean, the onus here is not on the minor. I am absolutely not shaming Celeste for the company that she kept, but I'm just, listening to him and I'm like, oh my gosh, this little girl, this really seems to pertain to her, the company she kept. And we don't know all of the details, right? We truly don't know all of the details here. I mean, we see people posting things online. Half the time, I have no idea if it's AI or if it's not. I don't even know. And look, because I don't know these people individually. I don't know them personally. David, Neo Langston, of course, Celeste, Rivas, Hernandez. So I don't know if David and Celeste were in a romantic relationship. I mean, I've seen the stream of them where he says something like delete this after, and clearly they're giggling, they're laughing, but I've seen photos of them allegedly at the mall holding hands, but I don't know if those are real or not. So again, I don't know the specifics of the relationship, but all I know is him saying this made me incredibly sad, knowing Celeste's fate. And I think that, I try not to do double videos, or I should say 2 days in a row on the same topic, unless it's really
Why
heavy and
not?
prevalent in the news. But this case is really starting to bother me. I mean, it really is starting to bother me. I did a video on the arrest of David's associate or friend, Neo Langston, and I was very upset by
All right, we're gonna finish
his
this, and then we're gonna
mugshot.
bring up another video because we do have some potential news to bring up here.
By the smirk. Maybe he didn't mean anything by it. And of course, we don't know that it has to do with, Celeste and the grand jury that's being convened. But look, I really am like 98% sure that it does.
So Mama Mia said, "Who is this lady, please?" So this is Lauren Conlin. She's a contributor for LA Magazine. She's over in New York, but she's been covering this case for quite some time. Very, very, since the beginning. She's been on, she's been on Law and Crime with Jesse Weber. I don't know if she's been on with Nancy Grace, but I know she's been on with Ashley Banfield, and she's also had interviews with SF Investigates. So, I respect her contributions to this. She's definitely one that continues to talk about this.
Based on all of the surrounding facts that this arrest pertains to him not showing up. So that's why his smirk bothered
Oh yeah, she definitely went off on Neo last night.
me so much, I think. And just, going back to it, and I'm going to play the video, I haven't forgotten, but I think Neo is going to be a key witness here. Judging from social media, and I know social media can be smoke and mirrors, whatever, Neo knows a lot. He's going to be asked a lot. And I did the video kind of indicating that I don't think he's a suspect, but I obviously don't know that. Depending on some of the questioning they ask him, could he be, I don't want to say someone who could be additionally charged for something else later? Yeah, I think he could be, but again, we just don't know. So I want to play part of David's video. I'm going to pull up my article actually that I wrote, and you can find it on lamag.com. Let's see. You know what? Let me just refresh.
I don't know what she's gonna play.
Here we go.
What's up, everybody? It is David here. We are back. I know I haven't posted in a minute. I was on tour, but tonight I just wanted to share verses with you guys and give you some biblical insight on what God says about your circle and the company you keep around you. I'm going to be reading from Proverbs 13 and 20, and it says, "Walk with the wise and become
Foxy.
wise. For a
Why she
companion
work
of
for LA
fools
Magazine and lives
suffers
in New
harm."
York?
Second verse, Proverbs 14:7 says, "Stay away from a fool, for you will not find knowledge on their lips."
Yeah, and so for those of you guys that don't know, LA Magazine is owned by Mark Garagos. Mark Garagos is a co-host for Two Angry Men podcast with Harvey Levin from TMZ. So you can just kind of understand how, these big lawyers are trying to control the media.
Basically, what it's saying is, if you are a smart individual and you are self-aware and you know the company around you and the friends you make and the people you hang out with and things like that, and you see that one of them is either self-destructing, bad influence, bad energy, anything of the sort, you're supposed to be that smart person.
The Two
and
Angry
push
Men
that out of your
podcast,
life.
Chloe?
Do not be so used to it and so accustomed to it that you start doing the same things and the same bad decisions and the same
Right, from gooning to Proverbs, right? Come on, David. For reals?
sins It's not saying don't help your friends. It's not saying don't see your friend on the floor self-destructing or hurting themselves or going the wrong path, not extending your hand to help them back. But it's also at the same time you're trying to help them up. Don't let them bring you down with them. It's like you'll see the patterns in like a relationship or a friendship or anybody that's close to
Dr.
you.
Dre used to
Are
wear
they
eyeliner.
good to have around you?
What?
Like, is this a good presence in your life? The Bible says, don't walk with fools. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked or stand in the way that sinners take or in the company of mockers. God will not let you be tempted. God.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to
See, even Lawrence had
stop
enough.
this for now. I watched this, and by the way, this video is about 6 minutes, and I have a link to the article in the episode notes, and in that article, you can see the video is embedded, so you can go and watch that whole thing if you want. But he seems genuine to me, and I go back initially because I think at the beginning when the LAPD did issue that statement, a lot of us were like, okay, well, maybe it was some kind of overdose. Everybody's speculating. And this is again not victim shaming at all. It's just again, it's speculation as to what could have happened based on their statement saying no criminal culpability beyond concealment of a body. So, maybe there was some kind of OD, someone panicked and they stashed her body. I mean, when I see videos like this, I go back to thinking that, but then I'm like, wait a second, no, because why would they have a homicide prosecutor convening this grand jury if they weren't treating it like a homicide? So again, I
Foxy,
keep thinking
crazy
about this. And yeah, this case is driving me nuts. It's taking way too long at this point. I know I probably seem so crazy and emotional sometimes, being like, oh, this is good news, this is bad. It's like the more I think about it, the more frustrated I am. Although again, I know that everything is being done by the LAPD, by the DA's office. I know that. I understand these things take time. I'm just starting to get impatient, and I'm starting to, I guess.
Lauren, just continue to take your frustrations out on Neo and smack that silly smirk off his face like you said last night. All right, we're going to segue, right? Because I do want to take you to another video. And when I read the title of this video, it actually pissed me off, right? Just as mad as it made me to find out when Neo was actually when he actually bonded out. So I'm going to show you guys a video right now. This is on News Nation with Jesse Weber, and I'm just going to read the title to you guys first before I show this to you guys. This is called, the title of this video is called David May Be Offered a Deal in the Celeste Rivas Hernandez Case. David may be offered a deal in this case. What in the actual F? I was going to say it, you guys. I was really going to say it. All right, it's a 4-minute video. We're going to watch this and we're going to call it a night. So this is News Nation with Jesse Weber. And I think he has a really quick interview with SF Investigates. Again, if there's a deal that David may potentially take or get offered, SF, just tell us who drove the Tesla. Why wait? All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get into this video. So it's Jesse Weber and SF Investigates.
Langston, who was arrested on Thursday in Montana, of all places, on an out-of-state warrant for allegedly failing to appear in court as a witness. Now, Langston, a popular Twitch streamer who often appeared on social media with the singer, was transported back to L.A. for booking last week. He's already out of custody after posting bond on Saturday. Now, to be clear, we don't know exactly which case was the one that earned Langston a set of cuffs, but in December, TMZ reported that a witness for that grand jury that I mentioned earlier had been, quote, uncooperative with the investigation. So it's possible it isn't too tough to connect the dots right back to the David case. But our next guest may believe that arresting Neo Langston could be a sign that prosecutors don't have a strong case against David. Joining me now is missing persons private investigator Steve Fisher, who has been on this case from the very start, representing the owner of the property where David had reportedly been staying near where that Tesla was found. Steve, thanks for taking the time. What does this arrest say about the strength?
Hold on, let me catch up on the chat. I'm sorry, you guys. I haven't really caught up with the chat. I don't mean to ignore you guys. There's just so much going on in the background. Let's see. Terry Jackson said, this case, it should not have been taken such a long time build. This case, it should not have taken such a long time to build. I guarantee you, had a dead body been found in the trunk of my car, I'd be in jail. I agree, right? They'd probably snatch my ass up so quick, throw away that key. Let's see. David's the type to sit pretzel style in the closet, seeing what's wrong with me. Okay, delete everything. We're gonna delete everything, you guys. Delete everything. And the award goes to David for his role in The Preacher's Son. Get the F out. You don't think David got any acting skills? I don't know. Lauren just approaches from a legal perspective more so than true crime. I get it. Okay. I like Lauren Conlon, so I'm sorry. Y'all can hate me for that, but I'm a fan of hers. Had they had anything sufficient, he would be in jail. They are hoping somebody will fold, but nobody is. So if Neo actually testifies in front of the grand jury, do you think that he's going to spill everything, or do you think he's going to plead the fifth?
The possible case against David, in your opinion?
It does worry me a little bit because I think personally, I believe there was multiple people involved in what happened, and or at a minimum, multiple people knew what happened, and Neo is a person that was around.
Wait, okay, so really quick, we do know that anytime SF has these little interviews, we do know that the last time he did something like this on News Nation, he did come out and drop that there was a chainsaw. So let's see.
A lot. And by him, if he was subpoenaed as a witness, that worries me a little bit because, targets typically won't be called before a grand jury, or they would plead the fifth. So if they need him as a witness, that makes me think that he might be being offered a deal. And
but I hear you. If it was just right in a world where it was just him and just David who were responsible, I would say I hear your reservations, I hear your concerns. But isn't it possible that Langston wasn't actually involved in connection with Celeste's death or the disposal in any way, but has information about, let's say, allegedly David and other unidentified accomplices? Isn't that a possibility?
It's definitely a possibility, and I'm sure I have a feeling that he does know. But I think personally, I think he played a bigger role. That's just my personal thoughts from what I've investigated so far. But that very well could be true. But he's been holding on to that information for a long time now. We're coming up on 5 months since she was found, and obviously to ignore a grand jury subpoena, if indeed it was the grand jury that he was subpoenaed, when I called the sheriff's department in Montana, they just told me that it was a arrest warrant for failure of appear to testify. I don't know if that was for the grand jury, but you got to, connect the dots and assume it was.
What else have you learned about him?
About
Neo Langston.
He was at the house a lot. There's a lot of photos of him at the house. He posted a lot of photos of him at the house. He was friends with David and seemed to be kind of a hanger-oner, and I don't think he was hiding out much.
SF just called him a hanger-oner. I like that. He's a hanger-oner, you guys. So from now on, we're calling Neo, not Neo the Asian. He's Neo the hanger-oner, okay, you guys?
And I just don't think he had anywhere else to go because his mom moved there. And
can I talk about that for a second? Because the last confirmed sighting of Celeste, and this is according to you, was in January.
That's a great question, right? So there were reports that there was not an air freshener before the car was moved. And so when it was moved, right, and you can see when that car was taken out of the tow yard, when it was on that tow truck, that you can see the air freshener hanging from that mirror. Thank you to Talisha for becoming a member of the inner circle, you guys. Boom, boom. And just in case you guys don't know, we do have a Discord for our members only, where we we go and we deep dive. We have these conversations about this, and sometimes we even have our little members only watch parties there. So if you guys want, if you guys are on the Discord, um, I'll post a link on the community. If you are a member, you might be able to see it there. If the post is expired, I'll update the post tonight. That way you guys can join our members only Discord.
Of 2025, right? TMZ reported that there was this mysterious trip David took to Santa Barbara in the spring of 2025. The LAPD confirmed that. They haven't said what part that plays in the investigation. Now we are hearing that Langston's mom's house in Montana, where he was arrested, was purchased in March of 2025. So if we're talking that spring time frame, do you think that could be connected? I mean, of all times for her to buy that house, what do you think?
So Norma said, wasn't it Neo who last drove the Tesla? Unfortunately, we don't have that information confirmed. I do remember that in an interview with Nancy Grace did ask SF Investigates who drove the Tesla. And SF did, he mentioned that he's not entitled to release that information because he does not have the permission from the homeowner, right? And we know the homeowner is Malden Trifunovich. And I reached out to Malden and I asked him, are you going to give SF permission to release who the driver was? And he said that information will be out when it can be. So he said to hang tight. So I'm assuming that that driver, maybe until he testifies, right? And maybe he already testified today. So maybe we might find out who drove it.
I think it. I don't think it's connected. I'll tell you why. Because in monitoring social media, she's posted some stuff even indicating that Neo was there.
Glad you got home
I don't
safely.
think he was hiding. I just don't think he had a place to go. And I think him and a couple other people very close to David have just been extremely arrogant lately. Like
when the arrests are made, that's right.
I hate to see that, and I hate to see them get deals. To be honest with you, I just think that there's got to. Would hope that there's other evidence that could tie them all, anybody who's responsible, up into this thing and charge them all.
And to be clear, like, we don't know 100% sure if it's part of this case, if he's offered a deal. I hear your conclusion. I hear your analysis. Thank you for watching.
Ooh, that was quick. Did that just end?
There's other evidence that could tie them all, anybody who's responsible, up into this thing and charge them all.
And to be clear, like, we don't know 100% sure if it's part of this case, if he's offered a deal. I hear your conclusion. I hear your analysis. Thank you for watching. Okay, Cuomo. They need to lower that down. I swear to God, every time he pops up, it's just like volume's on 100. So what are you guys' thoughts? You guys, key highlights from this video, right? So the arrest of Neo Langston, right? The potential legal deal, the fact that there are multiple parties that may be involved, right? Because we saw or we heard that Fisher was expressing his beliefs that multiple people were likely involved, or at least had direct knowledge of the incident. There's also Neo Langston's connection, right? Where SF Investigates called Neo a hanger-oner. And then the timeline and the behavior. So the mystery trip where David took to Santa Barbara. I am very curious. Shut it, Cuomo, right? In the famous words of Rabbit. Shut up, Cuomo. That's funny. So what are you guys' thoughts? What are your guys' thoughts? Again, you guys, thank you guys so much. We had 1,000 subscribers today, and it was all because of you. Let me go ahead and post the link to our members only Discord. And then we're going to post it. Now, I'm just going to post a link, not going to post anything crazy. Just in case you guys are considering. I want to join the members only Discord. Click the link here. Let me make sure that it's listed for all member channels only.
All right, you guys, I'm posting the link now. Ronan said 1K subs. Darcy said inner circle. Mark putting me on the spot, busted freestyle. Might have to do that in members only, yo. Members only, members only. They gotta pay for that. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Members only, y'all. Members only. What else, you guys? What else is there? There's really nothing new. I know that Jesse Weber did a video on the 10 clues regarding this case, but I don't know if it's anything that we haven't really discussed in detail. No, I was just kidding. I'm not gonna freestyle, and you guys are not gonna pay me to see that. Not gonna happen. I'm retired. Not gonna happen. But maybe we should do like a little 1,000 1K sub celebration maybe tomorrow. I don't want to take up all of you guys' time. It's already whatever time it is wherever you guys are at. Yeah, we'll Westside Piff said a Steve Fisher freestyle. We're gonna invite him onto the show so he can do a freestyle. No deal for David, right? But I am FloJo. I know. Should I just change my name then? Should I just go by my government name? Since I don't flow anymore. Look, if I'm gonna put myself out there. If you guys want to see me rap, Rabbit has a members only video that you can see. I forget what it was. What was it for? Was it for New Year's? Christmas, New Year's? You guys got to check it out. That's the only place that I rapped in public. Anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I know it's late, so I'm going to give you back some time. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me reach 1,000 subs. The next goal is, I don't know. We're not keeping track of the numbers here. But this was one that we did want to just make sure that we come back out here and just say thank you to all of the subscribers for. So again, thank you guys so much. 1,000 subs. Maybe the next goal would be 5,000. I don't know. I was reading up on some of the stats. They did say that reaching 1,000 subs is one of the most difficult milestones in YouTube. And they say it's a lot harder to reach 1,000 subs than to go from 1,000 to 10,000 subs. So, and I guess the reason behind that is because you have no algorithm authority. That's the term that they used, algorithm authority. But once you hit that 1,000 subscribers, you tend to have your stuff pushed out into the algorithm just a little bit more. So we'll ask you guys for the first time tonight, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I do hope to see you guys in another live, and maybe we'll have a 1,000 sub celebration. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm FloJo. This is Filling in the Gaps, and we will see you later. Peace.